What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 18th day of January, and here we are sitting at about $95,100 with 7 hours, 37 minutes left in this week. And in this day, it is the final day. It is Sunday here, the final day of this week. I don't know if I said it, but hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. Okay, so we're finding a little bit of turbulence here at about 98K, which again, we've talked about this at length since November of 2024. A lot of people assume that the 100K level is the area that you're going to find resistance at, that you're going to find respect at. But if we look back in Bitcoin's history, it's not that we don't respect this level at all. It's just we regard other levels more, right? Other levels more. This 98K level, I think, is actually more significant than 100K will be. And when we do move up higher, whenever we do break through 98K, we should then also break through 100K and see higher prices than just 100,000 as well. We're pulling back a little bit right now, but I am not bearish on this candle by any means. I mean, it looks like we had a little consolidation phase down here and we're breaking out. That's what it looks like. Added volume, it's good. It's all good stuff. Let's look at the daily time frame and see where we're going to go. Ultimately from here, I am expecting, and when I say ultimately, I mean at the end of the day, I'm expecting that we are going to see new all-time highs. Here's our next target zone, 142 to 167. Let's say 167. Somewhere up there. There will be stops along the way. The next stop should be at the golden ratio, which is at about 106.3 to 109.8K. We can just call it 106 to 110K right there, with a heavy emphasis on that 108K level, I think, or 107K. That's where I think we're going to go. But that's the next stop. This is the final stop of what will be an overall bullish move that we've, I think, just begun this week, really. Or maybe if you want to look at it as we started it in the middle of December. I don't know. But I feel like this week here, we're actually breaking out. So we're going to look back at this in a month or two from these high prices and be like, yep, this was the starting point right here. But again, the way that I'm drawing, it's like a straight line. It probably won't be straight. There will be stops along the way. And I do expect that we'll be here for Bitcoin probably by the end of March, probably. And maybe we keep climbing afterwards, but we'll see. Let's look at the daily time frame. We'll zoom. Actually, let's look at the 1 hour time frame. We'll zoom out instead of zooming in. The 1 hour price action. I mean, if we're being fair, for Saturday having just passed, this was actually a pretty volatile Saturday. It's not much. We've basically been flatlining, but still, it's actually more of an exciting Saturday than we normally get. The RSI is very neutral here. Very, very neutral, right? Getting above the 50, below the 50, right? Very, very neutral here. But in the overall context of this lower low, lower high trend that you've broken out of, by the way, you've broken out of it, and you've already hit the oversold zone, I feel like what's happening here is you're getting a momentum shift, and now that momentum is going to be shifted to the upside. So we should be moving up. And with that momentum shift, that doesn't mean skyrocket to the overbought zone. We're just getting really strong readings right now. That should mean it's a slow, gradual shift, which is exactly what we're seeing. We're probably going to be getting overbought, not today, probably not even tomorrow. I mean, maybe at the end of the day, but likely Tuesday or Wednesday we'll be getting overbought. That might be when Bitcoin really starts to progress higher. Stochastics are weird. The MACD is weird. Of course they're going to be weird because you're neutral. You're just sideways and choppy, and it's the 1 hour. So we're not going to regard these really at all. The 4 hour time, and I mean, with that being said, the RSI is pretty neutral in itself, but I am taking a bullish stance rather than a bearish stance on the RSI. The 4 hour RSI looks pretty bullish. Overall, very bullish. You're in a more neutral reading zone right here, but overall, you're very bullish. You're not getting oversold at all. You're getting overbought consistently. Most of your time is spent above the 50, not below the 50. I mean, you look really good here. You really do. And you've got higher lows to boot, so all good, all looking fantastic right there. Stochastics look bullish as hell. And the MACD is bullish overall. We know that it's bullish because your oscillators are above the zero line. You're coming down here, your bearish momentum is dying off. I think that we are at a place where we're going to start to bounce and recover. But again, it's not right here, right now, this moment. Maybe on Tuesday, maybe late Monday, maybe Wednesday at the latest. Sometime over the coming days, but probably not today, do we expect a move up. With that being said, wouldn't it be great if we just rallied up to 100K from here? But probably not. The stochastics look bullish here, but just because they look bullish, just because the implication is that we get overbought, doesn't mean that we're sailing through the roof here. We could just like slowly move up, oscillators reset, whatever. We consolidate back, and then by the time the MACD is ready to bounce, by the time the RSI is ready to get overbought, that's whenever this productive move might actually make a difference in the stochastics and we go higher. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm just saying, even though we're bullish here on the stochastics, that doesn't mean that we're bullish through the roof. Maybe just a slight gradual shift to the upside, which is kind of what we're expecting. Looking at the daily time frame, a little bit of a double top in the RSI, right? No bearish divergence, but a little bit of a double top. That's why we got held up here. And that's why on, was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. If not, maybe it was Thursday. I was saying we're probably done pumping for the week, and it will be next week, which, hey, we're on the very final day of this week, so next week is tomorrow. It'll be next week that we likely pump. And when I say pump, I do mean pump. I do think that over this week, this next 7-day period, we should be closing the next week above 100K and on our way to that 106 to 110K area. Stochastics are bullish overall. The MACD is bullish overall. I'm excited to see what comes next. There is a little bit of bearish divergence in the MACD and the stochastics, but I think this move fulfills the requirement of that MACD bearish divergence and the stochastics bearish divergence. I don't know. I think that this is adequate. If it's not adequate, I do accept the idea that we could go lower. We could hit prices below 94K. I doubt we get below 93K, but if that happens, I'm not freaking out. This does not have to be the low, okay? Over the next day or two, yeah, if we were to drop down here, I'm not panicking. This is an obvious buying area. Anything below 94K is an obvious automatic buying point. And then we likely build from there. I mean, higher lows throughout all this, it would literally be perfect, I think. I'm not calling for us to go down here because I'm not really seeing it on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. I am seeing it here on the daily because of the divergence. And I don't know how stochastics or MACD, I don't know if the requirement needs that if the requirement is that you have to go where the divergence started. With the RSI, it's typically like that. Whenever you have divergence, you have to go back where the divergence started. I would assume it's the same, but maybe it's different. I don't know. And if it is the same, if there is divergence that has to be fulfilled, well, we'll go just below that line, just below it probably, find support at resistance, and bounce off of there. People will freak out. People will panic. They'll start to think that we're going lower, that this is a rejection point because we have a lower low. And right as soon as we get that slightly lower low, that's when we'll bounce. Does that sound familiar? Because that's basically what happened here. That's exactly what happened right here, right? We had our lows set up. As soon as we got a lower low, boom, you were done, right? Let's see here. Maybe it didn't happen right there, but it does happen a good bit. Right here, you have your lows for so long, and then as soon as you get below those lows, then you bounce up. I don't know. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, but I feel like that's been happening a lot, and especially to the other side. It's like as soon as you get a higher high, that's whenever you sell off. But I'm not calling for this. Again, if we do go down below 94K, I'm not going to pretend like I called it. I'm not going to say this is exactly what we expected, but it's something that I'm throwing on the radar nonetheless. We should be aware of so that if it happens, we're not panicking. We're prepared completely for it and appropriately for it. At the end of the day, I think that we're going to be moving higher. By the end of this month, I would be very shocked if Bitcoin wasn't above 100K, and I would be very shocked if we haven't at least interacted with something around 106K or higher by the end of January. It's the 18th now. We've got a lot of time left in the month. I think we can make this happen. Even if we spent all week consolidating, even if this whole next week was consolidating, we still got a week after that. I mean, I would very much be surprised if we did not see prices that are well above 100K by the end of this month. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I will see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. Nice 50 level bounce on the monthly RSI. That's powerful. That's awesome. Stochastics bouncing here where they've bounced before. It's actually the COVID crash where we've actually found the support here before, just like that. The MACD is the one negative thing that I would say. The MACD is the one negative thing. But overall, it's positive. Overall, it is bullish. I just don't like that we've crossed red for 3 months now in a row. Anyways, I'll see you on the next one. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.